Hello friends, welcome back to A Good Life Farm. So today I'm actually going to share a really quick video with you guys. I want to share what I picked up at the antique store. So those of you who have been around here for a little bit know how much I absolutely love antique stores. I love going antiquing. If I had a bigger house, it would just be so that I could have more antiques. Not that I need more living space. I would just like to have more space to put antiques. I love it. I love going antiquing. Even if I don't buy anything, I love just walking through antique stores. I love just seeing what all there is to see. It's like going on a treasure hunt every time, you know, or going down memory lane. You know, you see things that it's like, oh, my grandmother had one of these, or oh, I played with one of these when I was a little kid, and things like that. And I also like to find unusual things like tools or utensils or what have you, and try and figure out what they are or what they were used for. I kind of like the puzzle aspect of it. So I was in Huntsville today, and I went a route that I don't usually go, and it took me past an antique store that's actually my favorite antique store in Huntsville, Alabama, but I don't go there very often, just because I'm not over that way very often, once in a blue moon. But I went in there today, and I did walk out with a few things, and I will tell you, I drove Mr. Smith's car today. Had I driven my truck, I'd have brought home some more things, because there was something there that I absolutely loved, but I couldn't bring it home in his car, so I had to leave it there. So I am going to show you what I did bring home today. First of all, here on my kitchen table, I have kind of like a center piece arrangement, I guess. Now, what sits here from time to time changes. Sometimes I swap it out for other things, and just kind of use things that I already have to make something new to look at in the center of the table. But one of the things that I do love is crocheted antique types of doilies or table runners and things like that. And I have a round crochet one that usually sits here on my table. I had a little bit of an incident yesterday, and when I was opening my jars of red sauerkraut, which that video went up yesterday, I accidentally got some of that red juice onto the doily, and I immediately put it in the laundry. But when I was at the antique store today, I actually found another one almost identical to it. Another round crocheted doily, and kind of an ivory color, if it doesn't show up on camera. But like I said, it's almost identical to the one that I have, and so this is kind of my backup one. A lot of times when I find these in antique stores, they either have really bad stains on them or they have holes in them, and it's not very often that you find one in really good condition. And for the most part, this one actually really is. There are a couple like super faded stains that you'd have to look really close to see, but nothing that would make this unusable. So this was the first thing that I picked up. And then you all know how much I love pottery. I especially love pottery coffee mugs, but I actually have a couple of the things that I like as well when it comes to pottery, and that is old, like primitive pitchers or crocks, and I do have a few of those here in my kitchen. So when I was in the antique store today, I happened to find a few more pieces. Now, there was actually more than what I got, but some of the pieces were really, really pricey, and so I couldn't bring myself to bring those home. However, these ones were all really, really inexpensive, like everything was under $10, and so I had to bring these home with me. So this is the first one. This is just a very simple 2 blue striped pottery pitcher, and I love how it's not perfect. You know, a lot of times you'll find things and they're just like reproductions, things that are made to look like an antique, but they're really not. And often you can tell because they're too perfect. But this one has imperfections in it, which shows me it was handmade. There's no like brand stamp or anything like that. It's just old. And I mean, even the handle you can see is just a little bit crooked. I actually do have some other primitive types of pottery with some blue stripes on them here in my kitchen already. And then this is another little pitcher that I found. So this has what is called a salt finish, and it has to do with the way the glaze was done, creating the type of finish that is on these. And I just thought this was a pretty little pitcher. This is more of a gray color. It's actually very similar to a coffee mug that I got in an antique store not too long ago, and I've gotten a lot of comments on that coffee mug. But I loved the size of this, and I think this would be perfect for holding some flowers this summer. Now over on my kitchen counter I have a pottery crock that holds a lot of my utensils that I use when I'm cooking. Things like spatulas and wooden spoons and all of that. And I love that old piece of pottery. When I purchased it, it was labeled as being a German crock. Now whether it's German or Dutch, I don't know. There is a lot of overlap with the styles, but while I was walking through the antique store today, I found one very similar, and again, kind of the same feel as this little pitcher, but it's smaller than the one that I already have over there, and it's got like the little kind of like mock handles that you would just use to grip it with. And I thought this would go great with the one that I've already got over there to hold my smaller utensils that don't quite fit in the big crock. Now I don't have a ton of copper pieces here in the kitchen. I do love copper, but I'm very selective about the things that I get. First of all, I want to make sure it's not just, you know, mass-produced reproduction stuff, and I want to make sure that it really is copper. And this right here is a sifting basket or a sieve or a colander. I mean, I don't exactly know what category this would fall into, but this is definitely copper. It has got some weight to it, and it has this beautiful pattern that actually reminds me a lot of the pattern that is in that basket that hangs over on my kitchen wall. It is a basket that came from an antique store last summer, and I had taken it out to my greenhouse. I was going to hang it out there, but it was such a beautiful piece that I just couldn't leave it out in the greenhouse where it might get sun damaged, because I felt like it was going to get brittle. And so I brought it into the kitchen and I hung it in here. So this just had a really neat geometric pattern in there, and I loved it. Now I don't see myself ever actually using this, but I am going to hang it up here in the kitchen. And actually there is one last little piece which I almost forgot about because I hung it up already, and that is this very simple little copper olive lamp. So I just thought this was really, really neat. And I'd never seen anything quite like this. And, you know, I don't know that this is an antique or if it's just a primitive metal craft, but I really liked it. I thought it had character, and I could tell it had actually been used at some point. So the bowl here would hold the oil, and then this holds the wick that you would put down in there, just like a cotton wick to absorb the oil, and you simply light it and hang it up. And so I just thought this was really neat, and again, it was really inexpensive, and I've never seen anything quite like it. And so I decided to bring it home and add it to my homestead kitchen. Hi, baby. Hello. You stole my chair. All right, so that is my antique haul from the antique store in Huntsville. And, ooh, Ava. So that is it for today. Thanks for hanging out with me here again in the Homestead Kitchen. My name is Constance at A Good Life Farm, and I'll talk to y'all next time.